passed and scored highly on an aptitude test to get onto the course. The marksmanship and skills modules are complete, and the final assessment to become a Royal Marine Scout sniper is the tactical module. The final module is accumulation of everything that's been taught and testing it in a complex strategic scenario. So what attributes should a sniper have?
They need to be able to infiltrate where no one else can and then vector an effect onto an enemy target.
What are the instructors looking for?
Coming in to show physical robustness, we're going to look at their mental robustness and fortitude and their technical understanding of the skills required of a sniper.
And why does it matter?
There's a huge amount of trust, especially because of the risk attached to the way they operate, moving forward and working at reach.
The tactical module is split into two parts, urban and rural. We'll look at the urban phase first. At a training area in Wales, the commandos must set up an observation post, or an OP as it's known, inside a building. To go unnoticed from the outside, they must stay in the shadows and blend into the background. Material is put over the windows to deflect light. The Royal Marines are shown various methods of blocking out any brightness that could create a silhouette, revealing their location.
Yeah, again, I wouldn't get anything in there.
An instructor is outside making sure they can't be seen. Inside, they're set up as a team of four, a shooter plus spotter and logger. Someone on watch as sentry, while the fourth person gets rest in.
The snipers work in pairs but operate in teams, and within that role of the shooter and the spotter is quite simply the shooter is the one behind the rifle, and the spotter ordinarily, once they leave course, will be the more experienced sniper. The observer will use the Leopold spotting scope or one of the suite of night optics in the dark hours and essentially spot and observe shot strike on target to potentially adjust for a second shot. But they'll also be the main link to the commander who's giving them those details of what priorities of target they are to engage.
They all rotate around the 14 positions over the days and nights they're in the urban OPs, as they could be observing a potential enemy for a long time. To make this training as realistic as possible, we've come to Exeter city centre. It's busy, people are going about their daily lives, and the teams are in a surrounding building. They've been given information on their persons of interest, and now it's just a case of watching and waiting. Using what they've learned in Wales, they set up an OP in a building in the same four-person configuration. As they will be here for 5 days, the person logging and reporting information needs to be in a covered compartment, so if they use light to write something down, it cannot be seen. They also need to be near the shooter so they can hear information that's being relayed. It's also important to put up a screen that blocks any brightness and use another area so whoever is resting or doing admin work can do so. As they get into position, whoever's on sentry will set up an early warning system to detect intruders. It looks like a simple piece of string, but it's rigged up so that if there is movement in the corridor outside, the commandos will know about it. The sniper teams have photos and key facts about their targets, such as age, race, build and sex. And as part of this training, the targets are fellow commandos. And then, like they practiced in the skills module, they find them and trace their movements. Working in an urban environment shows exactly why snipers need precision, as to the left and right of a threat could be an unconnected bystander. They gather intelligence around the clock, and as the streets become sparser, staying quiet and out of sight is even more vital. Significant movements are noted down, everything that's needed to build an in-depth picture of the enemy. They won't be doing any firing here, but the instructors are looking for the extra levels of detail from the Royal Marines that show vigilance and understanding of what's required in the sniper role. Here there are no loaded weapons, but if this was a real-life scenario, after a shot has been fired, the teams may have to collapse their observation post and get out as quickly as possible, as their location could have been given away. It's at this point where they might be vulnerable and open to an enemy attack, which is why, as part of the rural phase, they practice what's known as break contact drills.
Contact! Contact! Contact!
This builds on basic commando skills of what to do when you come under fire. The nature of the work snipers carry out is inherently dangerous, so this needs to be refined.
We're looking at individuals who can work disaggregated deep within an adversary's territory or within a high threat environment.
It's why, even though the teams carry the L115 sniper rifle, they also need personal weapons with them, in this case the SA-80, to defend themselves or attack adversaries.
It has real-world application, okay? And it is 100% something that, if it happens, you will have wanted to have practiced.
Here they're carrying out break contact drills with all their kit and equipment, so they can practice just taking out all the essentials in a grab bag if they need to get away quickly. The bags the snipers carry are around 80 kilograms, basically their own body weight, which is why they only need to take crucial survival kit with them if they become compromised. Much like the urban phase and the rural phase, the Royal Marines will have to build an observation post and live in it, which is why their bags are so heavy.
They've got a significant amount of weight, but they have to sustain themselves for a minimum of 5 days. That's 5 days worth of rations, 5 days worth of water. They've then got all their living type sustainment kit, warm clothing, Gore-Tex, sleeping system. And then on top of that, they've got all their day and night sniper optics. One of the ranks per team will be carrying the L115A3 top flapped within their Bergen, as well as all the conventional night optics and weapons that a normal commando will go on the ground with.
Planning the position of any observation post is pivotal, but when it comes to a rural OP, there's more to consider. Essentially, what the Royal Marines do next is emulate the configuration and stances of the urban OP, but it's all hidden from sight, underground. This rural observation post is only half finished, so the commandos can get a better idea of the setup. Underneath the camouflage area is a large hole in the ground that needs to be big enough to house 4 or more people for several days.
If you're in there for a few days, right, when you bump out, if you've been in an awful position, you are going to be suffering, okay? So that little bit of extra digging, okay, just to get that extra half a foot, something like that, can help massively, just so you can sit upright.
One of the most problematic things is finding somewhere you can see the target from ground level amongst all the trees and undergrowth. And of course there must be openings so the shooter can take a shot and the spotter can collect information. And like in any mission, they need to be aware of their surroundings, so the person on sentry has a rather low-tech but low-profile device to do so.
So the periscope at the back, yeah, mega simple, lads, okay, but it is really, really useful. And it's that minute signature that you're giving out. If you imagine if George now, if I take that door back, and let's just say he's got his head with his rifle pointing out there, anyone walking past for a few hundred meters might be able to ping him, right? With that periscope, the door cammed out, very unlikely they're gonna see him first, isn't it? He's gonna get eyes on first if they're just walking through the woodblock.
The teams have been shown what to do and now it's time to build it. They begin at dusk and will work through the night to get it done. And this is just a practice run. As next up, they're doing it in a tactical setting at Sennybridge training area in Wales. They've already done a long insertion and built their rural observation post. Underneath this patch of forest is one of the sniper teams. There's just about room to stretch your legs out. They undergo their tasks of drawing their panoramics, logging enemy movements as they get their orders. And when I say they live here for 5 days, that obviously means going to the toilet in either a bottle or a bag, which can only be emptied every so often in particular areas outside of the OP, as it could give away their position. They have their target building in sight, and their mission is to neutralise their adversaries. As night falls, a pair carry out a close target recce, so routes closer to the hostile building can be identified and more information is gathered about the enemy.
A consideration for the sighting of all OPs will be the potential or likely enemy weapon systems and looking to overmatch that ballistically. So if we can reach them and they can't affect us, then that's an advantage for the OP location.
And as the sniper teams are being assessed on everything they've learned over the previous weeks, as dawn breaks, the instructors will throw in something unexpected, an enemy assault.
Often the number 2 will carry the 7.62mm sharpshooter rifle. That's a gas-operated semi-automatic 7.62 rifle, so the same calibre as a general-purpose machine gun, which gives a further standoff range. Should the OP be compromised and be engaged, it gives them a ballistic overmatch more than what the standard rifle would.
Before taking the shot on the L115, they'll need to recap the fundamentals like checking distance, wind speed and air density to ensure accuracy.
Shooters will fire in the place of 2, 5, 4, 3. Hit. Both targets down. Hit. Both targets down. Let's go.
Then they need to move, as they don't know what's coming next. They're being hunted down through the forest, and it shows how their situation can become hostile very quickly. They may have fended off their adversaries for now, but their mission is still the same, so they regroup and change tact. They're being tested on how they react to the unexpected, tactical decision-making when sleep-deprived, and the ability to stay focused in a changeable situation. The enemy has moved, and now the teams must work quickly to send sniper teams to a different position where they can have effect.
About 1.5k in total. Right, lads, stepping off. 40.
Once again, they have to think about where they can set up to gain an advantage, being as covert as possible. Meanwhile, the other Royal Marines are preparing for a ground assault on the objective, relaying information to the sniper teams as they will need to focus on high-threat targets, such as an opponent in control of a general-purpose machine gun. The teams with the L115 are in position, ready to take the shot.
All shooters will fire in the place of 2. 5, 4, 3. Repacks confirmed down.
And now the ground assault begins. The snipers are specialists, but must be multifaceted, so when on operations they can seamlessly integrate within any strike team or commando unit that needs them.
The standard of individual we get on course, they've already gone through commando training, so they've proved themselves once. They've gone through a selection to get on the course in the first place, and then we currently sit at around a 50% pass rate, so around half of all those who come on the course will badge as a Royal Marine sniper. That metric gives some kind of standard to the difficulty of it.
With the enemy taken out, the tactical phase is complete. Over 13 weeks through the marksmanship, skills and tactical module, these Royal Marines have distinguished themselves under the guidance of instructors from Commando Training Centre. Due to the clandestine work Royal Marine Scout snipers carry out, I've only scratched the surface of what knowledge they need, as many of the competencies and expertise they learn will remain undisclosed. Bryony Williams, BFBS Forces News. Thanks for watching. For more from Forces News, like and subscribe to our channel.